It's a well-attended show. Hope to continue to get the Silvercrest word out. Silvercrest continues its success at Las Chispas, walking down the path much like we did with Silvercrest Mines, the predecessor to Silvercrest Metals. If you remember that story, it was 4 years from major discovery in northern Mexico to production. We are on the same schedule at Las Chispas. They switched the... So who we are, successful, experienced management, if you know us. We created the foundation in 2003 for which is now a legacy for Silvercrest, or a dynasty, whichever you want to call it. One that is successful. We're boots on the ground. We don't overcommit the company. We're pretty shrewd negotiators when we're coming to do project acquisitions. So this is all a repeat, and we're doing it again with Silvercrest Metals, Las Chispas. The Las Chispas property historically started in production in 1790 with the Spanish. It produced intermittently up to 1930. There was approximately 100,000 ounces of gold and a significant amount of silver. You can see the grades there, pretty impressive. We didn't think we'd be finding such grades, but that's what we've been hitting over the last 2 years in our exploration program. I'll get into more details there. One of the advantages we also had at Las Chispas was an 11.5 kilometers of underground workings, most of them already stable. We've gone in, repaired, and rehabbed most of that. It's a great way to really leverage us to getting into potential production in the near future with that access. Also, we're finding multiple areas where there's bonanza grades. When I say bonanza grades, we're talking multi-kilo silver equivalent, and this is just gold and silver. There's no base metals, and I use a 75-to-1 ratio for the silver equivalent. So we've drilled about 45,000 meters of drilling to date now, and of that we've tested about 3.5 kilometers of what we've estimated to be 12 kilometers of vein strike length. So there's still a lot of opportunity with this story, and look for that in 2018. And we're excited. Chris said really banging. We're really excited about our maiden resource that's coming up. If you take anything away from this discussion, this is going to be high grade. This resource will be one of the highest grade silver to silver gold, silver equivalent ratio in the industry. The management team is pretty much what we had last year, except for a critical addition. That's Chris Ritchie. He's back in the back here, there. If you can wave at us, Chris. There he is. He's joined us. Chris and I have known each other for several years. We've done a lot of marketing worldwide together, and successfully. He was a big supporter, he was working with Canaccord and National Bank. Along with their support, we really were able to bring Silvercrest Mines to fruition, and now we're here to do it again with Silvercrest Metals. Welcome, Chris. Corporate structure, 64 million shares out. This is great, guys. We got great support from Don Smith, AGF, 9 Point, Gold 2000 out of Europe, Libra. Libra was in us in the Silvercrest Mines days. Also Don Smith, he's back in now. RBC and Curvature out of New York. Here's where we're located. If you can see here, Tucson sits right about here, so we're about a 4.5 hour drive from Tucson. Here is Santa Elena. This is the discovery that we made in 2006 and went into production. We produced there for 4.5 years, and then it did a deal with First Majestic in October 2015. That deal today is worth about $300 to $400 million to the Silvercrest Mines shareholders. If you still have your shares, in that company, you still got a lot, and it was a share deal, so we just converted to First Majestic, and at that time, we owned 25% of First Majestic. It's great for my shareholders. Also, the Mercedes mine, which was taken over by Premier Gold last year from Yamana. So this is a prolific mining region that we're working in. You can say that Las Chispas is between two major precious metal producers in northern Mexico. This is what I call the treasure map. So these are the 19 veins that you see on the property. This is the Las Chispas area. This is the Babicanora area. These veins give you an example on scale. This is about 1.5 kilometers there. So what for the maiden resource coming up, there's going to be the Las Chispas vein, the Giovanni vein, a little bit of the William Tell vein, the Babicanora vein, and there'll be some of the Babicanora footwall vein included in that. There are, again, 19 veins in this area. This area is about 4 kilometers by 3.5 kilometers, our land package there. So, again, look for more excitement in 2018 as we continue to explore after we put the maiden resource out. This has been the excitement for 2018 as we continue to walk from northwest to southeast at Babicanora. There's mineralization at the surface here. We continue to walk. We're over 1.2 kilometers downtrend right now. The precious metal zone is 125 to 175 meters high. Average thickness for the vein is 3.5 meters, which is quite reasonable from a potential mineability standpoint. And you can do your own volumetrics. I've already put a lot of those numbers out. Average grade right now is about 680 grams per ton silver equivalent for all the holes that we put in to Babicanora. Currently, we are drilling in this area as an extension area. Look for that news to come out by mid-February. Key takeaways for the Babicanora: it is 3.2 kilometers, of which we would have drilled about 1.5 kilometers currently, as of today. I've already discussed a lot of this. Lots of potential before the resource comes out. We can add another 0.5 kilometer onto that resource just in the systematic drilling that we're doing. Impressive high-grade bonanza hits. You can see that hit down at the bottom of the map. I mean, that is visible. That is native silver, native gold, electrum, and argentite, which is a silver sulfide. Also, the Las Chispas vein. This is where a majority of the underground workings were done. Some people think that we're going to be working around old workings, and this is a problem. Well, there's only one vein out of 19 that has the majority of the underground workings. And where we're focused here underground is the pillars and the intact stuff. So the resource will come out of this area here. Again, we're seeing stuff underground intact that's up to 20 kilos per ton silver equivalent. You can walk now underground. Most of the workings are open. This is a historic map that we just rendered and made clean. You can walk across here right now, look up into this pillar, and every flag that we've marked is over 1 kilo per ton, 3 to 5 meters wide. So this pillar right here is about 30,000 tons that we think's averaging about 1 to 1.5 kilos per ton silver. There's a lot of value in those pillars. It's just up to work on the mineability of that. So taken away from the Las Chispas area, we've basically focused on 3 of 10 veins. When we're drilling the 3 veins, we're hitting more veins, and they're just unnamed right now. And when we're hitting these veins, they're 1 to 3 meters wide, multi-kilo. We don't even have them on the books yet. We got to go back this year, probably next year, to chase these things to build more resource around those. Again, great opportunity to grow this resource from what's coming out in February. The Giovanni vein continues to be open and to depth, along strike. We've tested about 250 meters of that right now. We're currently have an underground drill. It's drilling on Giovanni for this resource that's coming up. William Tell, we need to still step out. We haven't drilled on William Tell for over a year now. There's an opportunity to potentially double that just by stepping out this year. A few of our shots for underground rehab. Why us? Maiden Resources coming out in a great jurisdiction, substantial upside potential. We do have a permit to do a bulk sample, 100,000 ton bulk sample. We have to treat it off site. Obviously, we're talking with the mines that are in the area, doing some due diligence there. That's possibly an early capture of capital that we can get. We'll look at putting together a plan this year if we want to do it or not. There's a negative behind that. We could basically give away what we could put into our own facility. So we got to consider that. Great area again, and we're here to do it again. Thank you very much.